Hey y'all, hope you're having a good evening. Uh, I've just been thinking about this whole case and I just want to talk about some of the things that just doesn't sit well with me, and I just kind of want to talk it out with y'all and see how you feel about the whole thing too. One of the things that's always bothered me is David Dotson. He was once a Baptist preacher and he joined the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And he was only there for like a couple weeks prior to Summer coming up missing. And then all of a sudden he becomes a spokesperson for the family and playing a flute for Summer every night. That's just weird to me. And then the thing that doesn't sit well with me and never did was when Summer was in church sitting next to Robin, and he's making hand gestures towards Summer, and she looks uncomfortable for sure, but almost a little timid. And this is a child that would run all over the church. So was she getting like a weird vibe off of him? I don't know. Maybe. I know she looked extremely uncomfortable. And then I know that Summer was close to Robin, but her behavior also doesn't sit well with me. Just like her giddiness after Summer disappeared, and she's like, I gotta put a flashlight, a little snacky in the backpack, and it's gonna be an all-nighter. That to me was just weird. Just a very weird comment about a child coming up missing. And look at Dawn. From the beginning, no tears, not one. And I realize that there's a lot of men that don't cry, but if your child comes up missing, you would be boo-hooing. I live in the country. I know rednecks. I know country boys, and they would be crying. It's not normal not to cry over a missing child. And something that he's always said that just is so weird is that he always knew that something was going to happen to her. He always knew it. He used to tell Candace, watch her, I know something's going to happen to her. Why would you think that? What in your mind, in a rational mind, would make you think something's going to happen to your daughter? You always knew it. Doesn't make sense. And I don't like to think that he could have done something with Summer physically, like Jeannie. And, another thing, now after seeing the property, I told y'all that him always saying that he went down to the shed first thing always didn't sit well with me. But after being to the property, I understood it completely. I would have done the same thing. It's just the way the property's laid out, and it just gives you a better view. So, then in the first interview that him and Candace did together, this was really disturbing to me. I mean, it made my skin crawl when he said that he didn't want to think about it, but she might be dead. And we all saw Candace look at him like, what? What are you saying? And I don't know what that look was, whether it was like shock to even think about that, or is he telling too much? I don't know. But then, excuse me, he's mentioned Mexico numerous times from the very beginning. In his first interview with J is for Justice, he stressed that they don't check IDs going down there. That was back in his running drug days. Remember, early on, he said that he tried to run drugs a couple times down in Mexico and ended up using up all the merchandise and getting lost in Utah. It was just a mess. And something else that has bothered me is excuse me, that his first polygraph test that he took, he couldn't take because he kept falling asleep. Who keeps falling asleep when your daughter just comes up missing? Nobody. You would lose sleep on end, and you would only be able to sleep when you're just like too exhausted to handle anything anymore. But during his polygraph test, he was too sleepy to take it. And something that we do need to keep remembering is that both Dawn and Candace failed drug test for cocaine and methamphetamines and marijuana. Now that absolutely affects a polygraph test. It's inconclusive. You can't put any stock in that when they're on drugs. And even though they say they've passed polygraph tests, it doesn't really mean anything when you're strung out on drugs. You know what I mean? And there's so many things wrong with Candace's behavior. The milk picture really didn't sit well with me, and I didn't like the idea of her leaving 3 boys alone by themselves. And it always bothered me about Summer's shaved head and the contradiction between why she shaved her head. And we've heard about abuse, allegations about Candace with her first 2 children. But in Chris Madonna's interview with Allie and Leslie and the grandma, they told a story that was really bothersome for me. Remember that she punished the boys for being rowdy in the pool, and she made them lay on the hot pavement, bare-skinned, and her and Grandis were laughing about it, and it upset Leslie so much that she went and dumped the pool out. I found that to be very credible because it brought back emotions with Leslie. It was disturbing to her. And then you remember the little boy, the young teenager, underage boy, Cameron, the one that painted his name on the side of the building up there. She gave him alcohol, and the father found out, and he was so upset that he ended up calling the police to go up there and retrieve his son. And which brings us to Hunter. She bought him Twisted Teas and vapes and things like that the day that Summer went missing. It's like a pattern with her. And we can't forget the alleged relationship between her and Hunter. And do you remember Hunter saying in that Chris McDonough interview that how she would get when she was drunk and high? She would think she was losing the kids all the time. And I know that the police gathered evidence and everything like that, but in the interview with Jays for Justice, he said that they had collected a lot of her clothing. And, you got to think about Grandis. She had a daughter that went missing and a granddaughter now. And kind of in the same manner, they just disappeared without a trace. And then Grandis disappears after Summer goes missing and wasn't there for Candace. And just the whole dynamics of Grandis is kind of sets me off. But anyways, just wanted to throw out some thoughts that I had tonight. And I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. And I hope y'all have a great evening or good morning. And talk to you soon.